Welcome to lecture number 24. We're going to look at Mongolia and the stands. Okay, 5 countries that end in stan, not counting Afghanistan and Pakistan, which we will talk about separately. Okay, let's pull up a map and see where the heck these stan places are and look at some other stuff, make sure we can remember it. All right, here's Asia. This is the map that you'll actually use on your test. This big thing across the top, you remember this is huge Russia, okay? This is the Sea of Japan, okay? Sea of Japan, we remember that. So these islands must be, you're right, that is Japan. We all know where China is, great big China right here in the middle. We talked about China already. And China claims the small island of, who remembers? You're right, Taiwan. Okay, so we got Taiwan out here. So we got Japan, China, Taiwan. Let's look at some other features here. What's this great big ocean out here? You said Pacific, you are absolutely right. What is this sea here that is south of China? Oh, duh, I gave it away. It's the South China Sea, of course. And all of this out here, this water, another ocean that we're very familiar with. You're right, that is the Indian Ocean. Here we have that really dangerous place we've talked about. This is the Persian Gulf. And up here, home to caviar and oil, we have the Caspian Sea. This thing right up here, the Caspian Sea. Okay, so hopefully you can remember all of that good stuff. But today we're going to take a look at Mongolia, this country right here. We're going to take a look at 5 of the 7 stands, okay? 5 of the 7 stands. These are the stands over here, okay? This down here is Afghanistan. This is Pakistan, but we will talk about those at a later date, okay? So we're going to focus on these things right up here, all those stands, okay? Let's take a look at the spellings of these things, just so you'll be aware of it. Let me pull that up for you, and we'll practice saying it. All right, we have Kazakhstan across the top. First one up here, Kazakhstan. Go ahead and say Kazakhstan. We have Kyrgyzstan. Go ahead and say Kyrgyzstan. We have Turkmenistan. Go ahead and say Turkmenistan. We have Tajikistan. Go ahead and say Tajikistan. We have Uzbekistan. Go ahead and say Uzbekistan. And down here at the bottom, which you can barely see, is Mongolia. Mongolia. You'll notice they all end in stan. Stan means land of. So Kazakhstan is the land of the Kazakhs. Kyrgyzstan is the land of the Kyrgyz. Turkmenistan is the land of the Turkmens. Tajikistan is the land of the Tajiks. Uzbekistan is the land of the Uzbeks. Okay, so that helps you remember. Great. Okay, but those are the pronunciations of these places that we're looking at. Okay, let's go back to that map again, and we'll start with Mongolia. Okay, Mongolia, this thing right up here. Mongolia, not a lot of Mongols, okay? It's about 3.3 million. It's a good-sized country for 3.3 million, so it's very sparsely inhabited. When people think Mongolia, they think wide open spaces. They think the Gobi Desert. They think steppe lands that go forever. And that's pretty accurate. They think of hunting with wild birds, falcons, eagles, that kind of stuff. That's still a very time-honored tradition in Mongolia. These are the things that they kind of push. Let's take a quick look at just a short little tourist video on Mongolia. Yes, people go to Mongolia as a tourist. Let's see what this is. It's only about 2 minutes.
Mongolia is an extraordinary destination where travelers can see the traditions of the past still practiced today on the country's vast steppe. Mongolia's nomadic culture is famous. Visitors can sleep in a traditional ger tent, help round up the sheep, ride horses, and simply get back to nature. You'll find spectacular countryside, rugged mountains, clear lakes, and abundant wildlife. It's this true wilderness experience that many people find so appealing. Watch a horse race, cheer on wrestlers and archers, listen to famous throat singing, and devour a delicious Mongolian barbecue. The whole community is involved in these traditional Nadam celebrations. Of all the experiences you're likely to have in Mongolia, the most memorable will be your visit to gers. From the outside, gers look like simple tents, but step inside and you'll be surprised by the amount of furnishings and modern appliances a nomadic family can have. Mongolians have been traversing their country on horseback for thousands of years, and it's also a popular activity for visitors. The Gobi Desert is a spectacular expanse, with 2 humped camels to ride, dinosaur boneyards to explore, and towering sand dunes that whistle when raked by high winds. It may sound cliched, but the truth is you won't find a more hospitable people than the Mongols. The further from the city, the more welcoming the reception. High season runs June through August. You can travel comfortably in May and September, but be aware some ger camps may be closed. Travel costs in Mongolia can range from less than $50 a day if you enjoy countryside camping and a meal at a simple restaurant, to over $140 a day for a top-end hotel and a horse trek with a professional outfitter. Mongolia's provincial capitals are accessible by bus, although most visitors hire a guide and driver for countryside tours. With its vast and varied scenery, a hospitable nomadic culture, the spectacular Nadam festival, and the legacy of the great conqueror Genghis Khan, rough and ready Mongolia is utterly unique and remains one of the world's last great adventure destinations.
Okay, that looks really appealing. I don't particularly want to go there. All right, you saw the good part of Mongolia. Mongolia, however, it's commonly referred to as Mine-Golia, M-I-N-E, because that's what they do there. They do have some rich resources. Lots of mining goes on there. Most of what is dug up there goes to China. The Chinese are heavily invested in Mongolia. Most of their energy comes from burning fossil fuels, and their cities are notoriously polluted. So if you find your way to Mongolia, you want to stay out in the countryside and enjoy it out there, okay? You'll be much happier. All right, so this is Mongolia right there. All right, let me see if I can focus in a little bit here. So we just look at the 5 stands that we're interested in. Okay, that's probably about the best we're going to get. All right, we're looking at these 5 countries right here. They're all end in stan. There is a way to remember them that students have found useful over the years. That is, the K's are on top, the T's are on the bottom. The K's are on top, the T's are on the bottom. This is Kazakhstan. This is the biggest of them. This is Kazakhstan. This is Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. So we have Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. The K's are on the top. The T's are on the bottom. The K's are on the top. The T's are on the bottom. We have Kazakhstan. We have Kyrgyzstan. T's are on the bottom. This is Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan, and this little one down here is Tajikistan. Tajikistan. K's are on the top. T's are on the bottom. We have Turkmenistan. We have Tajikistan. Turkmenistan, Tajikistan. And the one in the middle that oozes down amongst the others. Okay, just kind of squishes, kind of oozes down and touches all of the others. This is Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, okay? So Uzbekistan there. K's on the top, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. T's on the bottom, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and oozing down amongst them all, we have Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan, okay? So that will help you remember which is which. So let's take a couple of notes, or we'll take a look at a couple of notes on the stands. They have a lot in common. All 5 of these stands used to be part of the USSR. Remember, big old honking USSR had all of these little satellite countries that they pretty much forced into being this big empire until it all fell apart. None of them are currently democracies, although Kazakhstan does come the closest. They do have elections there, but none of them are democracies. And why should they be? They learned from the Russians. That's how the USSR was run. We don't mess around with democracies. And so they came by it naturally. When the USSR broke apart, they just kind of followed along with the political systems that they knew, even if they did not love them. Okay, all 5 of these are mostly Muslim. However, you're going to find that religion is not as dogmatic, not as important as in some of the Arabic countries that we have discussed. Okay, it's still there though. Most of these countries, particularly Kazakhstan, have tended to hang with Russia. When the USSR fell apart, Russia kind of formed this little league of all the former Soviet socialist republics, and they said, yeah, at least we're separate countries now, but we can trade together. We can maybe have defense policies together. We can still get along and be buddies, and that kind of worked for a while. However, as Russia has diminished in economic stature and cultural stature, they have these stands have kind of started falling into the Chinese orbit. Remember, China is just to the east of them, and China is investing in all of these countries, just like China is investing in Mongolia, investing in Africa. China wants to kind of be the center of everything. So they are building roads and railroads into the stands. They're striking economic deals with them. Yeah, they are starting to fall more and more into the orbit of the Chinese. So let's take a quick look at the countries. We have Kazakhstan, population about 18 million, has a stable government. And remember, this is the one that comes close to democracy. But their president has been president since 1990. whoa, that's what, like 30 years or so. That 97%, 95%, that is the margin with which he won the vote for the last two elections. Anytime you're getting 97% of the vote, that suggests that something's not on the up and up. So yeah, they're ostensibly a democracy, but hey, 97% of the people falling in love with one guy as president, yeah, that's a little suspect. Okay. Next one, Kyrgyzstan, population only 6 million. They are a mess. They are an absolute mess. Okay, you can see the numbers there. One prime minister per year. Okay, the government is not stable when you have that stuff. They had a couple revolts here just too recently. The economy totally screwed up. They can't keep the electric lights on. And in this morning's paper, there was protesting in the streets again. They had just had an election, but their court had thrown it out saying it was all fraudulent. People were protesting in the streets, and that was in this morning's paper. Good grief. Yeah, so Kyrgyzstan, not a great place. Tajikistan, let's see, K's are on top, right? T's are on the bottom, so we're looking down at the bottom now. Population about 9 million. Their economy is totally shot. Most of their money, 40% of gross domestic product, comes from remittances. Remember, remittances are your citizens go to another country to work and send money back to support the family. Because of those ties with Russia when they were all members of the USSR, most of those people are going to Russia, although, like I said, you're starting to see them swing more into the Chinese economic orbit. And of course, they had a big civil war there. It went on for 5 years. It's a mess. And finally, well, not finally, we have Turkmenistan next. Turkmenistan, population, 6 million. Now, these guys are blessed with gas and oil, if you want to call it a blessing. Usually it is. It's not always a blessing. In this case, it's pretty much a blessing for them. Most of it, we're in the Chinese orbit. Most of that is being shipped to China. They get all kinds of freebies with the government producing all the gas and oil. Free gas, free electric. Okay, so you can fill up your car for free. Woo! However, dictatorial government, lots of poverty. It's an oligarchy. Remember that big word? Handful of rich people pretty much running things. Civil rights abuses. Yeah, Turkmenistan has its problems. Finally, we have Uzbekistan. Remember, Uzbekistan, the one in the middle. This is the most populous of them, actually. Again, it's kind of a Mongolia sort of thing. Lots of mining going on. They're pulling up lots of gold. And that's kind of fun. And they're getting some slop over on the natural gas, too. So big agriculture there and lots of investment from China. Okay. So remember about the stands, all used to be former Soviet socialist republics. Governments there, not democracies. Some are doing better than others. None of them are really wealthy. Okay. So that is Mongolia, and those are the 5 stands. Make sure you're studying those things. And remember, K's on top, T's on the bottom, and Uzbekistan oozing in through the middle. Okay. Hey, keep studying. Let's see. Next, we're going to look at Japan. Boy, that's a contrast to the stands. Yeah, Japan is a great place. Hey, catch you later.